Hey everyone, today we're going to be versing the two Tom and Jerry movies, Tom and Jerry the movie and Tom and Jerry, to see which one is the worst. So without further ado, let's see which one is the worst Tom and Jerry movie. Now, the 1992 film was released on October 1st, 1992 in Germany, July 30th, 1993 in the United States. For distribution, it was Miramax Films in the United States, but elsewhere it was Turner Pictures Worldwide Distribution. Production companies are Turner Entertainment Company, Live Entertainment, Film Roman, and has 14% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, before I talk into the summary, I would like to let you guys know that these movies, like when I watch these two, it's one of those cases where I'm aware it's horrible, but it's also funny at the same time. I'm aware how horrible and bad it is, and I think that's really, really funny. So this one was interesting because, Tom and Jerry get left behind, and then they start talking when they meet this stray dog named Pugsy. So that's interesting and all that stuff. But the main star of the show is that basically Tom and Jerry befriend this girl named Robin, whose dad supposedly died from an exhibition in Tibet, while her mom died when she was born, which is kind of messed up. And then Robin's living with this aunt Fig, who is really, really mean and all that stuff. Oh, aunt in supposedly, because apparently she's not actually the aunt. Fig has a lawyer named Lickbutt, and then she also has this dog as well. And all three of them are so mean to Robin and all that. So Robin lets Tom and Jerry stay, they make a mess, and then eventually they find out that Robin's dad is actually alive, so they have to go find him. And who knows what happens? Oh, actually, I guess I can tell the plot. Eventually they go into this carnival area, and then they confront Fig and all that stuff, and eventually they do find the father. So that's something. And about that stray dog, Pugsy gets in trouble initially with her. I forget his flea companion Frankie. I said her for a second, but his flea companion, Frankie and all that stuff. And then they eventually save the pets and all that stuff. And honestly, this movie, to be honest, I'm aware how horrible it is. The animation's not great, but some famous people I think Richard Kind, Dana Hill, Tony J, Rip Taylor, a bunch of famous people would go on to famous, even one person who was in Hey Arnold was the voice of Robin, which is actually pretty cool and all that stuff. But yeah, at the end of the day, this movie is not that great. It has so much flaws in its animation, its story, and of course Tom and Jerry speaking. Oh yeah, and I don't know, just there's so much jokes that aren't great, and the characters themselves aren't miracles and all that stuff. So yeah, overall, it's a decent. It's not great. It's not a great movie by any means, but I think it's one of those movies where it's really funny, even though it's very, very horrible. The 2021 Tom and Jerry movie was released on February 26, 2021, distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures, production companies Warner Animation Group, The Story Company. This has a 29% Rotten Tomato score, and I remember watching this a year after this was made. And I remember I actually watched this on the plane to that trip in 2022 when I visited, my family in India and all that stuff. And honestly, in my opinion, it was a time. I'm aware that this movie is not great with its story and all that stuff, but it's definitely interesting. Going into the summary, it's definitely more of a typical Tom and Jerry movie instead of the 1992 one, where that one was kind of nonsense and all that, even though it felt on a Tom and Jerry movie, except they were talking. But going back to 2021 movie, pretty much is about Tom and Jerry who, want their own dreams in, Manhattan, with Tom wanting to become a jazz pianist, and Jerry wants a new house. And while this is happening, there's this girl named, Kayla, who loses her job and wants to, find, a position at the hotel, which, she does. And all that, and pretty much with Jerry's usual antics, Kayla's how is this happening? What is going on? And all that. So she has to try and find and teams up with Tom to try and find Jerry and all that stuff. And then usual antics happen and all those things. There's even a wedding in the midst of all of this, with Kayla wanting to set up for the wedding, but it doesn't go as planned. I think Tom and Jerry try to be friends, but it goes to the point where I think one of the main characters in this story drives Tom crazy and Jerry crazy to the point where they fight in the wedding, and then Kayla ends up, leaving the wedding and all that stuff. She quits, but then they make a small wedding to make up for the thing. And I mean, the movie ends afterwards, and I don't know. And overall, that's just the plot. I mean, obviously, I miss a bunch of things. You gotta have to watch it to get an idea. Overall, this has a better structure than the 1992 movie. Don't get me wrong, the movie itself is not great. It still has some flaws in its stories, its characters, a lot of those things, but it's actually kind of entertaining. Again, it's one of those so bad it's good movies, right? And honestly, I preferred this more than, the 1992 one. Which, speaking of which, going through both movies, I can safely say that 1992 is the worst movie of the Tom and Jerry lineup. Because, to be honest, the movie itself kind of sucks with Tom and Jerry talking and all that. And I mean, it's one of those so bad it's good movies, but the 2021 movie is more entertaining and more both movies at the end of the day are bad, and they're so bad it's good movies. But 2021 has just more clever writing and all that stuff. Well, 1992 is not great. I mean, at the end of the day, both don't have great writing, but the Tom and Jerry 2021 movie actually had some decency. While the 1992 one is just kind of there. Tom and Jerry talking, no thanks. They're not great, but you know what? Whatever. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. I hope I convinced you to watch Tom and Jerry. Alright, goodbye.